All right. So, I'm going to do something that I don't usually do because this is something that kind of agitated me. So, there were these two incidents in 1987 where a gentleman basically busted into a television signal and started, putting out his own show. It's just a guy being goofy. And what he's doing right here is he's wearing a Max Headroom mask. That's what this is right here. Max Headroom was kind of this pop culture thing in the 80s where basically like it was a guy and he wore like plasticky type hair and a plasticky type suit and it made him look like he was computer generated even though it was impossible to computer generate something of that quality at that time. So basically, he puts on a Max Headroom mask and then acts goofy in front of the camera for a few minutes, and then he fucks the hell on off. Actually, not even a full minute, I don't think. The way that this was accomplished is back then, TV signals very rarely went over cable because not too many people had cable yet, even though it was around for about nearly a decade, I think. So basically, what they would do, or what these people did, is they hijacked the broadcast signal, basically overwriting it with theirs. And because they were overwriting it with theirs, that's what projected, and it didn't give the people who were running the station any chance to figure out what the fuck was going on. And they made it very short. They were in, they were out. So one of the things that caught my attention was I noticed a dance that the person did. Now, in one part of the the second Max Headroom video, the second intrusional broadcast, he starts singing this theme song for a show called Clutch Cargo, which was a cartoon from the 50s, which by like the 1960s and 1970s was heavily in rotation, I'm sure, as a rerun, which meant that this person probably grew up with that music, or not that music, but the actual song from the cartoon, probably knew it fairly well. So when he starts singing it, he starts bouncing around. He's like do 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 do, doing his thing. But when he's doing that, he's doing kind of like this little back and forth dance. Let me see if I can find it here. Um, let's just zip in on this. See if we can get in there. All right. So, all right. Obviously, there's a lot of like different artifacts from the VHS, like up towards the top here. The one on the right is the Max Headroom, the second pirate incident. The one on the left, this one here, is actually a what's claimed to be the third incident, which had just finally been found on VHS. And basically, once I spotted that, I noticed that it was there, and then I was like, okay, well, what else? And I noticed that there seemed to be a exact uh, basically an exact opposite version of this for the second one. And I was like, oh my God, it's reversed. So what did I do? I put it in here and I reversed it. Now it's been edited uh, mostly to remove things that identify it from the second video, such as he brings up a can of Pepsi there. Yeah, there he goes. He pulls up a thing of Pepsi, and that's obviously been modified. Now the front beginning here, like you see him do this. Hold on, get him in there. Now you see, oh, ooh, that's a perfect example of the VHS having an issue, or not VHS, but the broadcast having a signal issue. Now see that on the right? That's what's happening. Now, you see how everything is pushing to one side or another? That's the way that static works. That's the way that it shows up on whenever you're recording a TV from an old analog system, and that's what it looks like when things screw up. But on the other hand, let's see if we can find a screw up in the other one here. I think I just saw one. Yeah, right there. Now, first off, you notice that the static is not pulling to one side. It's actually inside of a box. You see the full shape of a box there. It just has some scratchy shit on the outside because that's fake. That's a completely fake transition. That's definitely done by a computer. And now you see how he appears up in the corner for a split second? Like this is down here. Now, that is something that did happen in broadcast signals if you didn't have the horizontal and the vertical correct. Basically, what would happen is the image would continue to stop, like the bottom right here would make its way towards the top, kind of like this, and then it would just kind of loop around, loop around, loop around, loop around. And this right here looks like it's doing that, but that's like a fucking straight ass line going right across there, and it doesn't last more than a few seconds. Watch. It like there's no transition, just all of a sudden it's there. 1 second not there, next second there. It's very, very suspect the way that all of these little transitions appear. And there's even a few where they try to hide like, different editing mistakes and shit. You see they do pretty much the same thing. But on the that one he's actually ducked down twice on the left. Once and twice. Basically, they use the same piece of footage more than once. Now, when you get to this section of the two of them together, now the first thing I did was I reversed it. So the reversed footage is the footage from the second instance, but it isn't just backwards. It's also flipped, which meant that I had to put a flip over it as well to discover that, yeah, look at this, dead on. It's the exact same video. Had they done more editing here, like they had done in the beginning over here, where they actually were, cutting up pieces to try and make it look like it wasn't the same thing. You see that? Ooh, there's the finger, and then you even see for a second more of that bullshit static over here. And it even looks like they used a different type of filter. I can't exactly place it, but you can see that, that's garbage. You can still see the outline of the entirety of the box. And that's something that you wouldn't see if you were capturing something off of a VHS cassette that was recorded off a TV that old. That's just not the way that it would look at all. And as we go forward, all of a sudden it just goes away. No real transition, just kind of goes away. It's all done. We're all done with that. And it just continues to go that way to that way. See, it's the exact same goddamn footage. So, Rare Video Max Headroom, the third incident, is a bunch of fucking horse shit. And I'm really embarrassed for these people for actually trying to pull it off as one.